Oh. Okay, what do you do? Mindy. Good morning.
Morning, everyone.
Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, North Metro. I'm Reverend Michael.
I'm Reverend Valerie.
And this is Greg and Sheila Fossen. They're our producers. We have Stephan Anthony. He writes our prayers and our affirmations. They're going to be reading them today. And we have the wonderful, the only Mindy.
Sterling.
Yay. Welcome, Mindy. We haven't seen you in a while. We're going to get going with evocation. So if you close your eyes and join me as we recognize that one power and that one presence and know that it is all that there is. We call it God. It is perfect, whole, and complete. It is creation. It is the creator and it is the creativity. It is my life and the life of each person that joins us here today, and indeed the life, every kind of life throughout the universe. So this day is the day that God has made, and I rejoice in it. I celebrate all those individuals that have tuned in to this time together where we get to share and talk about the one thing that we love to talk about, God, and its amazing grace. So I bless this time together. I name it good and very good, knowing that everything unfolds perfectly and each individual receives exactly what they came here to receive this day. For this and so much more, I'm eternally grateful. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is.
Mindy, you're on.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone, Lord. We don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last to the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, oh, but just for everyone.
Yay, wonderful. That was totally impromptu, wasn't it?
Yes.
I know you ran out to get the words, and it was perfect for this day. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We'll get back to you in a few minutes. We got some announcements to make, and we'll see you then.
Okay.
Okay, bye. So,
Okay. So, like us and check in on Facebook at CSL North Metro. Check out our website at cslnorthmetro.org. You can go to contact us and add yourself to the email list. You can go to the prayer requests and affirmations to request a prayer, to see our affirmations for this week and lots of other weeks as well. And there are the affirmative prayers that Stephan writes out there as well. So anytime you need a prayer, you can just go right to our website, and there's lots of prayers right there. Tomorrow we're having our movie and discussion at 6:30, and we'll email out the link and post it on our website in the calendar. Our title today is My ABCs of Spirituality. You've already met our guest artist, Mindy Sterling. The reading today is from the collected essays of George Bendel. So George Bendel was an engineering prodigy who was exempted from the military service by Franklin Roosevelt by 1957. He was a member of the religious science movement and an ordained minister. He became a close associate of Ernest Holmes, and he was eventually the pastor of the Founders Church in Los Angeles. And he also lived with Ernest after Hazel died until Ernest died. So he's very, very big part of religious science and
the formation of it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's turn it over to Stephan, and he can read the affirmations and the reading.
Hey,
Thank you.
Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. So, as always, I just invite you to read along if you want, wherever you are, or just take these in. Each day, I experience complete spiritual health and well-being. I see the oneness in all life and accept the beauty of it always. The vibration of God's love is in sync with every aspect of my life. I am amazed by the abundant gifts flowing to me. My life unfolds in ever-expanding fulfillment of God's vision. I joyously go forward as one with the perfect allness of spirit. And so it is.
So it is. Perfect. Thank you, Stephan.
Going to do the reading now.
Oh, yeah, the reading.
Yeah, and it's a very powerful reading today. As Reverend Valerie showed and said, it's from the selected essays of George Bendel. And here it is. In the Statement of Principles of Religious Science, Ernest Holmes says, "We believe in the unity of all life and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We believe the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thoughts and acts upon it. That is what the whole teaching is. There isn't anything else. It's that simple. Humanity and God are one and can't be separated. Old theology has for years created a separation whereby supplication we have to go to get a special intercessor to bridge between man and God. Ernest couldn't even make sense out of that logically. His basis was 1, 1, 1. Humanity and God are not separate. They are one. And we can understand this when we begin to get into the teaching, when we understand that we couldn't pray for anybody unless within us were the same thing that is in the other individual. It's the whole secret of absent treatment. So we see that the infinite, intelligent, creative energy or source that surrounds us can work for us only by working through us. Therefore, our whole system of teaching is to provide an easy channel to sacrifice our self-will and to provide an easy channel for this energy of source to operate through us.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, he did it simply and
Yeah.
wonderfully. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mindy.
Hey,
Well, seeing that these are very challenging times, every day I do my best to lift myself above anything that keeps me dragging down into the muck and the mire. So this is a Mindy song. Take my heart and lift it. Take my fear and shift it. Help my life to open up and to feel your love. Help me to remember faith's about surrender. There's nothing I can rise above. There's a higher knowing, will show you where you're going. It's easy and it's flowing if you follow it. The gift is in the giving, and life is in the living, learning and forgiving as we go. Listen to your heart. Let it play its part. Take my heart and lift it. Take my fear and shift it. Help my life to open up and to feel God's love. Help me to remember that faith's about surrender, and there's nothing we can rise above.
Wow.
yay.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful.
Thank you. We'll see you in about 15, 20 minutes.
I'll be right here.
Okay, we look forward to it. Bye. I was thinking A, B, C. Simple as 1, 2, 3. That's what spirit means to me. So we're playing with the alphabet today, and I chose the beginning of the alphabet because the beginning of things that took place in my life, in the spiritual realm of my life, was profound, and I'm sure that each person listening could say the same thing for the beginning of their spiritual life. So I'm going to deal with A, B, C. A actually is a double A because I'm thinking of awareness and awakening. And when we awaken, things happen in our life that kind of pushes us forward on our spiritual journey, whether we were ready for it or not. And some people are aware of it taking place, and that makes the experience even more profound. So I was thinking about when I was ordained, and that in itself was an awakening. But what took place that day was so uplifting that just thinking about it uplifts me. There were plenty of people there. I had probably over 1,000 people that came to my ordination, and Reverend Michael Beckwith was the person that was doing the ordaining. And there was great music. There was times of silence. There was just a profound experience. But what truly moved me was one of the speakers, and we had several speakers, and they all were great. And I don't think it was Reverend Michael. I don't remember who it was, but the person talked about times in our life that something takes place and will never be the same again. Mm. And he talked about the birth of a child, and that instantly brought me back to when my daughter was born. It's an experience that I'll never forget. It's such a powerful memory that the details are all there every time I think about it. Because I remember my then wife was getting ready to give birth, and they had a mirror where she could watch the birth of her child coming into the world, and she realized she forgot her glasses. So I had to unrobe, take my mask off, run down the hallway as fast as I could, because it was happening fast. She had an epidural, but eventually the baby was born before the epidural ever kicked in. So she had all the pain, but went numb afterwards. But anyway, I came back with the glasses, and she was thankful for that. And when my daughter came into the world, it was just so profound. There was an energy in that room of her coming into the world that I can't even explain how powerful it was. But then there she was. And I was awakened to something that I never thought about or even pictured, and that was becoming a father. And when I held my daughter in my arms, I looked down at her, and I had this feeling of eternity, that I'm an eternal being, and who I am came from all the ancestors before me, and who she was came from me and her mother and all those ancestors, and it's an eternal journey. So I thought about that, and I thought about all the divorces I had and how each one was a small awakening, not quite as big as my daughter coming into my life, but each one was this small awakening. And over the period of time, it turned into one large one, because each one had something else I needed to learn. And most of the time, I felt like a failure, because it isn't anything you think will happen in your life, but it did happen. And I had to deal with with each phase of awakenings that was going through my life. So when you have those moments in your life, it's important to be aware that they're taking place. Some people will think, oh, it's no big deal, and they won't want to move into that thing that they've awakened to. Like when I became a father, I could have easily ran away, like many fathers do, and not stepped into the fullness and the allness of what I awoke to, being this father. But I did, and we had and continue to have this interesting father-daughter relationship. But the awakening that took place in me was so profound that it continues to expand as I continue to be father in a different way. And one of the expansions was becoming a grandfather. It was not quite as intense as becoming a father, but still that feeling of eternity came in to my life as I saw this beautiful creation of God. Her name's Jordan, and such a delight to be part of this eternal unfoldment that takes place in everybody's life. And I'm sure mothers and fathers can relate to what I'm saying, because we all have our experiences, and it's always great and profound. And then, my first granddaughter, my daughter said, "What are you going to do when you become a grandfather?" And I said, "I don't think of it as grandfather. I think my granddaughter will say who I am." And she did. When she was about 2 and was starting to talk, she called me Bumpa. So that kind of stuck with me. So when my second grandchild came, she had an awakening. My granddaughter had an awakening that Bumpa belonged to her, and nobody else could use that. So in effect, I became a grandfather. But the Bumpa tradition carried on, and the awakening I had to life and its fullness. I can remember when I was 15, I was in a summer league, a baseball summer league, and I had been unable to join the high school baseball team, and I always thought I wasn't good enough. So when I got into this summer league, which was like double-A ball, and I was playing baseball with these older guys that were wanting to be professional baseball players, and I was a pitcher. And we had this one game where I finally got to pitch, and I threw a no-hitter. And in that moment, after it was all done and everybody was saying, "Wow, that was so great," and I struck out all these guys, and I thought, there's something great about this. I am this pitcher, and I am good enough to play with professionals. So I woke to something greater within me, something that named me who I was in that moment, which was more than just being a pitcher, more than the game, more than the idea that I threw this no-hitter. It was, I am the I am. I am a powerful being. I can do whatever I want to do, and I can grow into whatever I want to grow into. And so we can consciously bring forth awakenings in our life. I highly recommend that in all the things that you pray for awakening, because just think of what could happen if you decided to do this, to pray for awakenings, and it actually happened, it actually takes place. How fast can you grow? How much more can you become the hugeness that you were here to become? I'm going to ask you to talk.
Okay. So I'm going to start with the law of cause and effect. So as human spiritual beings, we're manifesting all the time. And we're manifesting through our thoughts. So what we're thinking about, we're manifesting. And so if we're thinking, I'm not good enough, or I can't do it, or I'm not able, that's what we're manifesting. If we're thinking, I can do it, I am strong enough, I am powerful enough, that's what we're manifesting. And so as we picked out this reading from George Bendel, I was looking at the book, and he talks about that law of a cause and effect being kind of like if you're standing and looking in front of the mirror, and if you're shaking your fist at the mirror, you're doing that to yourself. And so whatever we're doing, whatever we're putting out, we're taking in. And so if we're putting out happy, we're bringing back happy. If we're putting out complaining, we're bringing back complaining. If we're putting out joy, we're bringing back joy. So we just get to be aware of what we're thinking, what our mind's doing, because I don't know about the rest of you, but mind's busy all the time. And I just really have to take some time and stop and go, wait a minute. Is that what's going on in my head? Is that really what I want to be manifesting? Because if it isn't, I have to do something to stop it. And so I've heard this exercise a really lot of times where you look in the mirror and you tell yourself, I love you. But I really liked, George Bendel had an exercise in there, and I really liked what he said. He said, you stand in front of the mirror and you look at yourself and you say, I am a loving, worthy expression of God. Over and over and over. I am a loving, worthy expression of God. And he said, so for some of us who are just beginning, we might not be able to do that so well. We might be able to, I can remember one of the exercises I did where we had to look in the mirror and say, I love myself or something like that. That was difficult. I remember in one of the classes where you talked about doing the prayer, because we were just learning how to pray, doing the prayer in front of the mirror. And some of those things when you're really new at this and just beginning are really kind of hard to do. And George Bendel talks about if it's really hard for you and you do it for 2 or 3 weeks and you stand there every day and say, I am a living, loving, worthy expression of God. After 2 or 3 weeks, or shorter if you're more aware, you can begin to see a change in your facial expression. You can begin to see a difference in how you're appearing to the world because you be lighter and more joyful. And so I just thought, wow, that's a really simple thing. I don't know about guys, but I spend quite a bit of time in front of the mirror in the day. So I could be doing something positive with that, whether it's that or there's something else that might appeal to you a little more. But we can be taking that time where I might be saying, wow, I really have a lot of wrinkles today, or wow, my hair just isn't doing what I want. Or I could be saying, I am a living, loving, worthy expression of God. Like every time I'm trying to criticize something about myself or my face or my hair or my clothes or any of those things, I can replace that with that or something else, and the point is what we're putting out, we're taking in. And so just begin to be aware that every time we're thinking anything, whether we say it, whether we're standing in front of a mirror, whether we're standing in front of somebody else, whether we're by ourselves, every time we're thinking anything, every time we're saying something, what we're putting out, we're getting back. And it isn't like spirit like some of us in others. No, it's like completely saying, I like to look at it this way. I don't know how many of you saw The Princess Bride. My kids were little at the time, and I don't know how many times we watched that, but at some point we had most of the film memorized. But remember when the farm boy, the daughter would say something to him, and every time she asked him to do anything, she didn't even notice him, but every time she asked him to do anything, he said, as you wish. And that's how I see our relationship with that inner presence. Constantly saying, I'm saying, oh, I'm really tired. And spirit saying, as you wish. I'm saying, I don't know if I can get everything done today. And spirit saying, as you wish. Or I can be so much more aware of what I'm putting out and say, wow, I feel really energized today. I'm going to just get everything done. And spirit's going to say, as you wish. I'm going to say, I have loving relationships in my life. And spirit's going to say, as you wish. And so if we just begin to start thinking about every single time we put a thought out, that's what we're getting back. Every single thought, every single word, every single action, every single way of being. What we're putting out, we're getting back. And so I like to, I guess where I want to go next is I wasn't going to talk about spiritual mind treatment today, but I listened to one of the Live Again CDs by Ernest Holmes this morning, and he was talking about spiritual mind treatment. And I often don't call it that. I often call it affirmative prayer or something else. But he's talking about how we are changing our own mind. And that's why he's calling it spiritual mind treatment, because the only mind that we're trying to change when we're doing that treatment is this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
We're not trying to change out, we're trying to change this one right here. And as we change that, we also change out. And so he starts it, and we say this all the time now. We started it as a mantra at one of the conventions. I think it was our new spiritual leader who started that when we were in Los Angeles someplace. And Ernest says, there's one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And he started that prayer with that spiritual mind treatment with that. But in that convention, we did it 104 times,
Mm-hmm.
like on the beads, prayer beads.
Right.
And so you've got a whole room of people saying, there is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And so every time we have a negative thought, or we're tempted to be angry at somebody, or we're worried about something, or all of those things, we can just stop and say, there is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. Just say that with me right now. There is one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And so the next thing I want to talk about is reciprocal action, which is really kind of the same as the law of cause and effect, because it's the other thing. What we send out, we receive. But we personalize the spirit. So we're one with that source, one with that life, one with that presence, one with that mind. And when we're thinking in that mind. And so every time we're thinking, it's manifesting. And then I wanted to talk a little bit about stillness. This is something I need to do a little more of, because I like to be busy. And I also know that it's in the stillness where I renew myself. It's in the stillness where I just really take the time to recognize that power and that presence and that oneness. And so I was thinking, be still. And then I heard that from the, I think it's the 45th Psalm, 46th Psalm. Be still and know that I am God. And then I was thinking about how every religion teaches a lot of the same things. And sometimes the things that we hear about or aren't exactly that. And in the reading, George Bendel talked about Ernest saying about supplication and having to go to somebody else. And so, but that's not, if you get down to the meat of the teachings, you won't find that in any of the teachings. They all talk about that oneness and that isness and that allness and how we're one with that. Do you have something you want to add here?
Well, it's reminding me about where I was going, and that awakening that takes place in us. Like, we awaken to all the stuff that Reverend Valerie's been talking about. And for me, when I awoke to whatever I awoke to, I had to be it then.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't reject it. I mean, I could, but it wouldn't last very long. I had to be it, and then, which is the B, and then I'd have to care for it, which is the C. And so, having birth to my child, I had to be a father. There was no question about it. I mean, I could run away and reject it, but my daughter, if I wasn't there, would still know that she had a father. And I had to.
You'd have missed a lot.
I'd have missed a lot. And I had to give it care. I mean, I had to give it all the care I could to be a father. And it wasn't always perfect, but in the caring, it was the perfection of God taking place. And it's the same thing when I became a grandfather. I had to be a grandfather. And that awoke something in me that a lot of us may deal with, because in my head, I was still 30. And in that moment of being a grandfather, I had to be where I was in the physical life, the age I was. That doesn't mean I had to get all stuffy and be one of those cliche grandfathers. I could still be fun and enjoy life all I want, but I still had to give care to being a grandfather. And that's loving and giving and being there when they need it. Did I tell a story about Gabriella?
In the poem?
Yeah.
I think you did last week.
Okay. Go ahead.
So I think that when we go through those transitions, like you're looking at that brand new baby and you're looking into those eyes, I saw wiseness and eternity and a life presence that was so much more than what was in that tiny little body. Mm-hmm. I see that every time I see a brand new baby. There's just a life and an awareness that's just so much more than that tiny body. And it's so easy to, especially in that moment where you're holding that newborn, whether it's my child or my grandchild or frankly your grandchildren, because they're mine too.
Yeah.
It's that awareness of who they really are. And it's so easy in that moment to see who they really are, and that they've chosen to come into that body, and they've chosen to come into this lifetime, and they've chosen to be here for the things, and so have we, to be here for the things we're doing now, and how important it is for us to focus on who we came here to be, what we came here to do. And it's so tempting, I think, especially right now, but maybe all of the time. It's so tempting to think about, oh, I don't get to go outside, or oh, I don't get to go anywhere, or so tempting to think about things that are happening, frankly, all over the world that we can really get upset about. And we have to remember we're the ones that as we put out into the world that which we want the world to be, as we embody those qualities that we want the world to be, we are creating that in the world. And as we teach these principles, as we expand the teaching around the world, as we get more and more people involved in these teachings, we are changing the world. We are making the world a better place, and we are the ones who came here to be that. We're not the only ones, and I certainly don't want to say that. I'm just saying the thoughts that I'm responsible for, the feelings I'm responsible for, the things I'm responsible for, I need to make sure I'm putting out in the world. So I'm just inviting each of us to really focus on what we want to create, really focus on how we want the world to be, really focus on what is mine to do, what can I do, what can I do today, what can I do in this minute, what can I do tomorrow. And we all have different things. We all came here to do different things. And so what's mine to do isn't necessarily what's Reverend Michael's to do, or what's, well, only if it's the dishes. No, I'm kidding. But, well, help me here.
We are constantly evolving, and in the moment that something takes place, don't lose it.
Right.
Keep it alive in
Right.
itself, and that's giving care to it. Keep it alive within yourself, so I can go back to any awakening that's taken in my life, and I can make it as real as it was then, now. And it's just as important, because we don't want to forget the steps we have taken to our greatness. And the work that we're doing now, the work that Reverend Valerie was talking about, by being a creator, by being this magnificent child of God that is made in the likeness and image and creates in the same way. So each one of us, I invite you to look at those awakening moments in your life and make a new impression of it so you can expand into the next awakening. And again, I invite you to maybe all month long, and I'll try this too, pray for an awakening.
Mm-hmm.
Pray for this expansive whatever to take place in your life and see what happens. Do you have enough? Are you brave enough to do that? Is it something that you're thinking, well, I'm not sure I want an awakening, because some of my awakenings were awful,
That's so
scary.
fun. Yeah, not so fun.
But they were purposeful. As you look back and you think about those certain times, bless them and know that there's no end to you expanding in this lifetime, and wherever you go in the next lifetime, you will continue to expand and grow.
So I want to talk about transcending.
Transcending.
Yeah. So we get our thoughts just all perfect, and we're just sending out love and sending out kindness and sending out peace and doing all those things. And stuff that we don't really want to happen is still going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we deepen our spiritual awareness, as we deepen our spiritual practice, we can begin to transcend the stuff that's happening and understand that we can live unattached. We can see things that we want to change in the world. We can see things that we don't agree with in the world. We can see things that, sometimes they're abhorrent. We can see those things and we can transcend it, because that's how we're going to make a difference. We can get into that spiritual place where we understand that every single person on this planet is a spiritual being, that everything that's happening to them here is not harming that eternal part of them at all. There are lessons that we're learning here that are part of the experience that we're having. And we can together upgrade that experience that we're having here and make it better for everyone. But we can also transcend those things, either in our personal life or things that are happening on the planet, where we don't get so involved in it. And I don't mean don't do what's yours to do. I just mean don't let our thoughts and our feelings and our actions get to that place where we're manifesting more of what we don't want, where we up level our thoughts and our feelings so that we're manifesting on a higher level.
So put it another way, we don't want to live at the level of what's happening.
Yes.
We don't want to live at that level. We don't want to be on that level. We want to transcend it and know the truth.
Yes.
Because if you're reacting or taking action at the level of what's happening to you, then it'll just keep happening in the same way and maybe even grow and be worse. So don't think at the level of what's happening to you. Think beyond that. Think in terms of who and what you are has nothing to do with what's taking place in the world.
Yes.
You are more than that.
Yes.
You'll always be more than that.
Yes.
Because you are God's divine child, always and
Yes.
forever.
Yes. Okay.
Would you like to kick off the treatment?
All right. Oh, so I just invite you to take a really deep breath and breathe in God. And breathe out any fears or difficulties or challenges. And just in this space and this time, just to be present in the love and the peace. Realize that Spirit is breathing our breath. Spirit is beating our hearts. The thoughts we think are in the divine mind. That right where we are, God is. God is all that is. Everything we can see or touch or feel or name or smell or taste, and all that we cannot, is one with the divine. Everything that's past and everything that's coming is one in the divine mind. There is no thing, no place outside of God. God is the smallest, tiniest grain of sand and the farthest, farthest, farthest star and everything in between. God is this planet and this solar system and my life and Reverend Michael's life and your life and every life. And so I just surround us all in that light and in that love and in that peace and in that harmony, and know that each and every one is breathing in love, is breathing in joy, is breathing in kindness. Each and every one of us is experiencing life in a greater and more amazing way. And as we're in that space of creating that life and that love and that peace for ourselves, I just surround the planet with that light and love. And I surround the fires with absolutely what they need to go out. I surround everyone who's been damaged and hurt and lost their homes and lost their businesses and lost anything from the fires. I just surround them with light and love. Mm-hmm. I surround all of the people who are infected with COVID with light and love, and know that we are a healing presence and power in this world. We are light, and we are love, and we are that peace. And so I absolutely pass this word to Reverend Michael.
And continuing and embracing that which Reverend Valerie has said, I too know that from these disasters, from these life-changing events that has taken place in the world, we grow and expand. And each one of us raises above what has taken place and holds the consciousness of knowing that as a human race, we're evolving into something greater than we could ever think we could be. And I ask you to join Reverend Valerie and I as we surround Lana with the perfection of all those who are about to participate in her surgery on her back, that she is so powerful that the surgery goes smoothly and effortlessly, and each hand is blessed as they do what is needed to take care of her back. And her recovery is quick and easy and perfect. So join me as she waits for this surgery. She does so in peace, knowing the truth for herself, that it's already done in the mind of God, and it's perfect, whole, and complete. And for all those that have asked for prayer in any single way, we send out light and love to you. We surround you with the same light and love that we surround everyone, knowing the perfection of your life and its unfoldment. And so, with a heart full of gratitude, giving thanks for those who joined us today, especially Greg and Sheila for producing this service, and for Stephan for his reading and his affirmations, and for Mindy as she provided the music so beautifully, that her charm and her beautiful being comes through in her music in such a powerful way. I'm grateful for that and so much more. So in this sense of absolute thanksgiving, I now release it into the love and into the law, knowing it is done. I simply say, and so it is.
So it is. Ashe, amen, and woohoo!
Yay! Mindy. Here she comes. There she is.
Hey.
Hey.
Hopefully I keep coming back like Energizer Bunny. Let's see. whether you're looking at the beauty of your new grandchild or your child, or you're looking in the mirror and repeating a prayer, what if God was singing a song to you?
Oh.
What would that be? And I was trying to, and I remember Billy Preston's song way back in the day. So this might be something God would sing to us. You are so beautiful. You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything I hoped for. You're everything I need. You are so beautiful to me. And there's a second verse too. Such joy and happiness you bring. Such joy and happiness you bring, like a dream. You're like a guiding light, shining in the night. You're heaven sent to me. 'Cause you are so beautiful to me.
Yay. That was perfect.
And you are so beautiful to us too.
Yeah. Yes.
Beautiful person, beautiful music. We're so thankful. We're going to do a few things here and then we'll get right back for your last song.
Okay, so, let me get the basket out. So, we're just asking you if this is helping you and if you're called to give, you can go to our website, cslmetro.org. You can use Venmo. There's the QR code right there. You just put your phone right up on there. There's also a text to give, YUGIVE, to 888-364-GIVE. So we're just grateful for all of the donations that keep us doing this thing and keep us paying the musicians and keep all of us doing this thing. And I'm not doing this very well. You survived it.
It's been one of those days. Okay, so wherever you are, point your hands towards the screen and repeat after me. I'm so grateful.
I'm so grateful.
So very grateful.
So very grateful.
For my life.
For my life.
For this day.
For this day.
For all those on the planet.
For all those on the planet.
I give this gift freely.
I give this gift freely.
No, it goes out into the world.
No, it goes out into the world.
And blesses many people.
And blesses many people.
And comes back multiplied.
And comes back multiplied.
For this and so much more.
For this and so much more.
I say thank you.
I say thank you.
Let it be.
Let it be.
And so it is.
So it is.
All right.
Okay, Mindy.
Well, there she is.
All right. So one more time. There's one song that I just like to. You can play it as a game. You can act out the part. You know it wasn't written for you. How can you stand there with your broken hearts, afraid to play the fool? One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Father or mother, sister or brother, feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love. Tell them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Don't wanna say you shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. How can you stand there with your foolish pride, all by yourself alone? If you tell someone about the way that you feel, you can feel it starting to ease. It's true what they say about the squeaky wheel, always getting the grease. Come on, sing it with me. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Do what I say and shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out better if you only will. Shower the people you will. Yeah, it's gonna work out fine if you only will.
Well, that was interesting. We thank you so much for hanging in there with us and all the technical difficulties.
Uh-oh, interesting's not a good one. Did it come across okay?
Mostly.
Or no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got about 3/4 through and it was okay.
So, but
Oh, well, at least we made it to the end.
right. So tell
I got
people how
if you want to know. Pardon?
tell people how they can get a hold of you. Oh.
Oh, they can go to simplysterling.biz.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mindy.
Yes. We're happy to have you.
So join us on Zoom right after the service, and the link is in the comments. It's also on Facebook if you're there, and if you get our emails, it's there, and it's on our website under the calendar. Remember that we're having the movie tomorrow if you're interested in that. And so I think you want to benedict us out?
Yes. So close your eyes and know this truth with me, that infinite intelligence that is everywhere present is present right where we are. And we send out all across the globe our good feelings, our good intentions, blessing every living creature on this planet and knowing the highest good for all. And for this, I say thank you. I let it be, and so it is.
So it is. Bye, everyone. Join us on Zoom if you want to continue after.
Thanks to Sheila and Greg and Stephan and
Mindy.
Mindy. See you next week.
Okay, bye.